Britain's first political TV channel on the internet launches next month. Financed by right-wing entrepreneur Stephen Shakespeare, the station will broadcast 4 hours of political news and discussion every day. Named after the street it broadcasts from, 18 Doughty Street describes itself as anti-establishment. It's been set up by the people behind popular right-wing blogs, including Conservative Home, and the board is dominated by familiar figures from the right. But they won't have any requirements to be impartial or accurate because, unlike broadcast TV channels, there's no such regulation for internet TV. Well, Tim Montgomerie, one of the presenters and founders from the station, is with me now. I mean, it immediately sort of conjures up visions of American, right-wing radio hosts who are very influential, and no obligation to be impartial at all. Is that where we're heading?
Well, what we're wanting to do is we want to represent people who, for a long time, have been outside of the mainstream media establishment. We feel that conventional television, British Broadcasting Corporation, Channel 4, isn't necessarily always the most impartial of broadcasters, and we want to bring a different perspective through the internet.
You think the guy who runs Conservative Home is going to be more impartial than us?
Well, what we are going to do, and I can confirm this, and you've already done it to some extent, is we're going to tell you where our politics are. We're going to tell you who we vote for. Which
well,
is
that
something...
doesn't make you impartial, does it?
Well, let me finish, because one of the things we're going to try and do is not quite interrupt people quite so much as well. We're going to tell people, our viewers, where we're coming from, and we're going to have alternative views on the channel. That is something, of course, Channel 4 and BBC presenters don't normally do.
Well, I'm not sure. Well, look, there's no point sort of criticising the BBC or Channel 4, because we won't get into that now. Let's talk about what you're doing. I mean, who do you think is going to watch? Because Conservative Home, which you involved, and Ian Dale, who's the other presenter who runs his blog, are influential in politics amongst a very small number of people. Now, how many people do you think need to watch you for you to be a success?
Well, we don't know. Bloggers, of course, have come from almost no readers a year ago to having thousands of readers, tens of thousands of readers every week. Where we will be in a year, it's difficult to know. But just to be absolutely clear, we're inviting left-wing bloggers, Labour bloggers, Lib Dem bloggers to be part of this. There is going to be a clear right-wing dimension to the channel, absolutely, but we're going to definitely have alternative perspectives in our programme.
What do you think? I mean, a few hundred, a few thousand?
Well, I hope we'll be a few thousand in our early days, but technology is moving incredibly fast. What we hope within a few months is that the integration of television and the internet will be proceeding apace, so people will be able to watch our output on conventional televisions. They'll be able to download our output onto iPods, onto mobile phones. We'll be having archived output as well as live output.
Isn't that the point, though? In a way, what you're doing is quite old-fashioned, launching a TV channel. I mean, you've already got these established websites. Why not just put the television and the video on them?
Well, I think what we want to give people, they can, of course, continue to read our blogs, but we want to give people a choice. We want to give people a real choice in how they receive their news output. Channel 4 is not closing down.
It's not news, though, is it? I mean, you're not actually pretending that it's news or impartial, are you? I mean,
well, what we're going to do is that, for example, my programme, I'm going to be very upfront in my news programme at 8 o'clock every night as to what my biases are. I'm going to take the news from the blogosphere, but I'm going to have someone on the channel regularly who will disagree with me, and I'm always going to give them the last word.
Would you welcome regulation? Same regulation as we have to go through?
Well, we're going to be open to discussions with the EU, but we don't want regulations that restrict freedom of speech.
OK, well, Tim Montgomerie, thanks very much indeed.